Hi, Robert here from Antone's. In this video we're going to talk about glue, tools you need for gluing, and some other supplies. Start with, we'll talk about the glue. This is the glue I use. It's Best Test. They've been around a long time. Company's recently been sold, but they're still making it. It comes under still called Best Test, but the manufacturer that handles it is called Speedball. They do art supplies, and you can get it on Amazon, or you can look it up on the internet under Speedball. It comes in gallons, quarts, pints, and a lot smaller tins. So I used to have a smaller one, and since then I mix all my glue. When I thin it, I put it in here. I don't thin it in a big large can. I thin it in a small can. If you get these cans, there are brushes in them. I take and break the brush out. The brushes are no good. If you go to put your glue on with one of the brushes in here, it's way too coarse. It doesn't work very well. To thin your glue, you've got the Bestine. It's solvent and thinner. This is what you clean your latex with before you glue it. It's what you'll clean the excess glue off of your latex when you're after gluing it and getting it all rolled down and seamed down. This is Heptane, and you can buy gallons of Heptane. If you go to a chemical company, if you got a chemical company close by, you can buy a gallon of Heptane. You might look online, you might be able to buy a gallon of Heptane. It depends on how much you're doing, but you use maybe three times more of this than you would your glue. So those are the two I recommend to get, that I've had the best luck with. They do make a water-based glue. These are solvent-based. They do make a water-based glue. I've never used it, so I don't know how it works. I do buy Heptane, and I do get it in a gallon can. Actually, when I buy Heptane, I buy 5 gallons at a time when I was doing a lot of latex work, because it was much cheaper. You'll find out all these products are cheaper if you buy them in a larger quantity. The other thing you'll need is brushes. I got brushes here that I use. Let me zoom in on these a little more. It's a 1/2 inch and 1/4 inch. This is what I put my glue on my seams with. And these are not fancy brushes. These are just cheap brushes, you know. Go to the dollar store and buy brushes. That's all you need. This is what it started out as. And you cut them off, because if you use them full width, they spread out too much. They make too wide of a seam. So, you know, So I cut them off, and this is what I use. That gives me the width of seam I need. I don't wash the brushes out after I'm done. It's like these. These have never been. These haven't been washed out after I got stopped using them. And all you need to do is just roll your latex off of them, or your not latex. Roll your glue off of them just by pushing it off. Why? So you don't pull the bristles out. It'll all come clean. And when you start using them again, the solvents in the glue will soften it up again. So that's the brushes you need. My glue, I mix my glue in a smaller container. I don't, you know, you mix up a large amount in a pint can, and it sits there, it separates. You got to shake it all the time. The solvents evaporate, and you end up thinning it more yet. So I just mix up what I need in a container like this. This will last you a long, long time. And I use these little containers you can get at Walmart, your dollar stores. They're just small containers. You get them with where the baking material is and utensils at Walmart, because you can take, when you're using your brush, you can see where you're dipping and how deep you're dipping into your glue. If you got a can like this, you never can see how deep you are or where your glue's at. It gets all over the handle and it starts getting messy. So that's why I don't like that. You could use a glass, shot glass. That'll work. Or any kind of small container like this. You could probably use a little old plastic cups you get at some of the places where they got ketchup in them or sauce in them. You can use that. If you can get a lid for it, it'll keep those solvents from evaporating. So that's that. The other thing you'll need is a wallpaper or seam roller. You can get them wood, plastic, metal. I've seen some metal ones. It's just a small wallpaper roller. The plastic ones, the centers seem to break out on them, so I don't really like the plastic ones too much. Went through several of them. The wood one seems to last a long time, so. What else you'll need, or I think you would like, or works out the best. Let me back up here a little more. These little squeeze bottles. Some of them got the spouts come out of the center. Keeps the solvents from evaporating. When you squeeze the spout, your heptane will come out. So it saves on how much you use. If you got the gallon can open, or quart can or pint can, and you keep dipping it over, and the solvents will evaporate fairly quickly. So this will save you from the evaporation. Another thing you'll need is paper towels. This is an automotive grade, paint grade paper towel. I would not use paper towels, kitchen paper towels. They're not soft enough. These are fairly strong, lint-free, and they hold up quite well. A lot better than kitchen paper towels. They're a lot softer. because if you get too rough a towel, start scrubbing on your latex to get the glue off of it. After you glue them, you're going to start scratching your latex. Another good thing to come up with is a shallow cake tin or pie tin. Something you can put some of your stuff in. Like this, if you're using your squeeze bottle, if it drips, it's not going to drip on your material you're making something out of or repairing, and it keeps it all in containment. And it's a good place you can store your extra glue. You can put your brushes on here so they're not laying on your material. It's a good place for your towels because your towels get solvents on them. You lay them on your latex, it's going to wrinkle up your latex. And we know how much it wrinkles without trying. So this is a good place for them, and keeps everything all together for you. And when you're not using things, you can just put them on there and take the whole tray and put it away somewhere so it's out of the way. Another thing we'll talk about is powder. You want to powder your seams after you get done cleaning them. After they're glued together and you clean them, you want to powder them so that latex doesn't stick together. And I like this powder. This is, let's see, it's mostly cornstarch. And it's a very, very fine powder. If you got powder and you feel it, and it doesn't feel silky smooth, it's almost too coarse. Some baby powders are really coarse from the talc. If you can find some nice fine talcum powder, that'll work also, but it's got to be nice and fine. And to put this on, I'll take my brush in there, just get a little bit on the brush. This is a little old foam brush, cheapy foam brush, and just brush it on the seam and spread it around to keep like I said, keep the latex from sticking together. The other thing you can do is make a pounce bag, which is a piece of cloth that you put your powder in and tie it together, and you just pounce it on there, and it puffs the powder out all over where you want it. So either way, I find this is a little more controlled this way than the pounce bag, but it's up to you. It's an alternative. Some of the other supplies I use is this is liquid latex. You get this at a hobby shop, craft store. And it's a lot cheaper than buying that liquid latex you see for body painting. That's very expensive. This is a lot more reasonable. It's very, very thick, and it has to be thinned out. And you want to keep the lid on tight also. I usually put some in a small container like this, and I thin it out. What you use to thin it is distilled water. Distilled water you can buy in most grocery stores. You can buy it by the gallon. It doesn't cost that much because they use it in a lot of steam irons, all the distilled water. So I've had this one a long time. You could use tap water, but tap water's usually got so many chemicals in it. And The more chemicals you can keep out of it, the better off you are. Foam brush to put it, well, let me talk about where we're putting it. We're using the liquid latex on zippers on both sides, front and back. So when you glue them in, you can put your glue on here and stick your latex to it. Twill tape. The twill tape is used with snaps or rivets for reinforcing in between the latex. Twill tape comes looking like this. You can buy it. So this is the twill tape. This is after you put the liquid latex on it. Some people just use glue and fill it, try and coat it with glue on both sides real heavy. But I found out that doesn't work all the time. I've had my best luck with the liquid latex. Might take you a little longer, but if a zipper starts pulling apart and coming out because of the glue, if it's got liquid latex on it, I have never had a problem with a zipper. The brush, just use a foam brush to put it on with. If you wash the brush out right away, you can use the brush quite a few times. I know the brushes aren't that expensive, but if you only do a zipper that long, and you throw the brush away, that's a lot of waste, a lot of expense you don't need. With the glues and the solvents, you should be wearing gloves because the heptane will absorb through your skin into your body, which can be bad for you. You should have a well-ventilated area. The heptane is flammable, so you got to be careful with that on open fire and flame. We get some people are using Coleman lantern fuel for their for the solvents, and the Coleman lantern fuel is highly flammable. That's like white gas. I don't recommend it at all. You use it at your own risk. But I don't know how it's going to react on thinning the rubber cement down. So you have to decide on that one. I hope this helps with your glue, your solvents, so many other things. The next video I want to do is going to be gluing straight seams and curved seams. We'll go from there. We'll get you started into gluing. If you got any questions, please post them below in the comments section. Subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notification of the next video that comes out. Like I said, leave a comment. Let me know what you'd like to see. I'm going to try and teach you what I can on what I've learned over the many years that I've been doing this. And thank you for watching. Have a good latex day and enjoy that latex. Thank you.